Well, if Cam Ward isn't the pick for the Browns at 2 and both quarterbacks are on the board, the other option is Shedeur Sanders, the Colorado quarterback, the son of Dion. And when you look at some of the tape, we found 3 plays from his game this season against Cincinnati. There are certainly some throws that make you go, okay, I can see it. And Shaun, I'm curious, as a former quarterback, if you see it too.
Shedeur Sanders, big time brand, big time platform. Is he a big time player? Roll this clip. It's some good and it's some bad when we're talking Shedeur. I like this because it's within the structure of the play, which you don't always see with Shedeur. And I think the one elite trait that he has is ball location when he throws the ball in rhythm. Like, that's a great throw because it gets over the underneath defender. It's to the sideline where only his wide receiver can catch it. It's a tight, restricted window. And you see these kind of throws pop up all across Shedeur's film. The question will be, is he disciplined enough to do this all the time? Because all of the things that I said Cam Ward is, Shedeur is not necessarily. He does not have a huge, big-time arm. He's not a elite level athlete. He doesn't have Josh Allen's size, but he gets it done. Drew Brees, I think, is one of the top 5 passing yardage leaders in NFL history. Can Shedeur turn himself into a Drew Brees type quarterback? I think he can. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not convinced he's my number 2 quarterback, but he's in the conversation because the one thing I do know about Shedeur, he can handle the spotlight. Unlike all of the other quarterbacks in this class, when you talk about Cam Ward, a lot of people didn't know who Cam Ward was until he got to Miami this year. You talk about Tyler Shook. Nobody knew who he was after the season. Kyle McCord, a lot of people didn't know he played at Syracuse. Jackson Dart, he's kind of just been one of the guys at Ole Miss that Lane's kind of, found since he's been there. So Shedeur's the one guy in this group that we know that can handle the spotlight.
Accuracy is something you hear quite a bit when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, Shaun. And this play against Cincinnati, I thought, was a pretty darn accurate ball, considering he's fitting it between not 2, but 3 Cincinnati defenders.
As I mentioned in the previous clip, ball location is Shedeur's elite trait. He does a great job of locating the football, especially when he throws the ball in rhythm. If you want to go ahead and run the play, this is a situation where they're play action passing, trying to get the underneath coverage to move up. And, that's just a really good ball. And here's the thing about Shedeur. If he did this all the time, I would say Cam Ward has legit competition to be the first quarterback selected in this draft. Because when Shedeur plays within the system, gets rid of the ball quickly, on rhythm, on time, he is a really good quarterback. The problem is he doesn't consistently do this. He tries to extend too many plays. He tries to create too many big plays. Can that be coached out of him at the next level? We're going to see. But this version of Shedeur that we're showing in these clips is a really good quarterback and one that's going to have a lot of success in the National Football League.
All right, last clip from Shedeur here. This ends up being a touchdown, Shaun. But of the 3 throws, this may be the worst of the 3, despite the fact it ended with 6 points here. There have been questions about Shedeur's arm strength, and it's something that he's going to have to answer throughout the pre-draft process and at his pro day, because there are enough throws like this on tape that I do think makes his arm strength concern valid.
Absolutely. And like I said, I think Shedeur's elite trait is his ball location. Also the fact that he's been in the spotlight since he was a teenager, so he can deal with that kind of pressure. But let's start with the good on this play. Go ahead and run it, Mike. The one thing you cannot question about Shedeur Sanders is he mentally and physically tough? This is a situation where his right tackle gets beat, he gets pressure, he stands in the pocket and tries to deliver the ball. Just watch the rush and watch the throw. You see, that guy's getting to him, so he can't step into the ball. Now, to your point, Mikey, here's where, to me, the separation starts to happen with Cam Ward. We saw Cam, without being able to step into the ball, into the throw, still be able to put these throws accurately with velocity down the field. And so when I say Shedeur's arm talent isn't on the same level as some of the other guys in this class, this is what I mean. He identified the coverage. He had the toughness to sit in the pocket. But because he does not have elite arm talent, this ball flutters a little bit, still completes the throw now. Don't take that away from him. But when we're talking evaluating who can change a franchise, all of these things matter. And I think this is the one area where Cam Ward is significantly ahead of Shedeur Sanders. And that's just arm talent, the ability to make these tough throws and still put velocity on the ball when you're in a compromised position, releasing the football.
And that's something that even as you develop as a person, get stronger, that can change a little bit, but you either have it or you don't in terms of arm talent, right, Shaun? That's not something.
Yeah, that's generally a God-given thing. Either you're born with it or you're not. I mean, you can do things to strengthen your core, to tighten your fundamentals that allow you to throw the ball with a little more velocity and torque than what you normally would. But the guys with the big arms, those guys got them. Now, they're not always the best quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong. And if Cam Ward didn't have the film he had to go with that big arm, I wouldn't be sitting here advocating for him. Jamarcus Russell had a huge arm. To be honest, Jalen Milroe probably has the biggest arm in this draft class, and he's not the quarterback that Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward are.